All right, let's kick off this deep dive. Ever felt like the world of work is, I don't know, fundamentally changing beneath your feet? You're definitely not alone if you have. The job market, it's undergoing this truly massive, almost dizzying transformation. And it's happening right now, with India really at the heart of many of these shifts. So today we're taking a deep dive into the evolving job market, navigating AI, new corporate policies, and surprising opportunities in India. We've pulled together a pretty comprehensive stack of sources, everything from internal company policies, industry surveys, right through to expert warnings, and even company expansion plans. We want to give you a genuine shortcut to understanding this complex landscape. Our mission really is to cut through the noise, pull out the most important insights, and equip you with what you need to understand what's truly happening, what it means for your career, and maybe how you can adapt.
Okay, so let's unpack this. What exactly are the big forces at play here? What's driving these profound changes?
Well, what's really fascinating here is how multiple pretty powerful trends are all converging. It's not just one single factor, you see. It's more like a dynamic interplay of technological advancement, significant geopolitical shifts, and also strategic corporate decisions.
Yeah.
And they're all impacting the employment landscape at the same time.
Okay, makes sense. Now, let's turn our attention to what's arguably the biggest game changer. Artificial intelligence. We hear the buzzwords constantly, right? But how is AI concretely impacting jobs on the ground, especially somewhere like India?
Yeah, AI is truly a primary driver. And what we're seeing is, well, it's replacing those lower value repetitive jobs faster than new ones are being created, particularly in India. Think about roles that are highly rule-based, objective, repeatable, things that are easily transferable, like test engineers, application testers, QA testers, software test engineers, that kind of thing.
Right, the testing and QA space.
Exactly. These roles are highly susceptible to automation. In fact, they account for a really significant portion, maybe somewhere between 36% to 40% of the whole IT sector's testing and QA talent pool.
Wow, that's a big chunk.
It is. And it's not just those specific roles either. Beyond that, you have these agentic AI tools, AI systems designed to act and make decisions somewhat autonomously. Well, they're specifically reducing the demand for entry-level talent in those lower complexity positions. It's a trend that's echoed by leaders like Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic. He actually warned that AI could potentially eliminate up to half of all entry-level white-collar jobs.
Half. Seriously.
Half. And potentially push unemployment up to, say, 10–20% within just 1 to 5 years.
Wow. A potential 10–20% unemployment jump. That's a truly unsettling projection. Are we seeing early signs of this already, or is this still something we're just bracing for down the line?
No. I mean, this isn't some far-off future threat. It's actually happening now. We're seeing real-world impacts. Look at companies like Amazon, for instance. Their CEO, Andy Jassy, openly stated that AI will substantially reduce its corporate workforce.
Yeah.
And they've already laid off tens of thousands of people.
Right, I remember those headlines.
Yeah, and Microsoft, too. They're conducting major cuts across the board, including in their Xbox gaming division. It's part of a bigger reorganization and cost-cutting effort. Google also cut hundreds in its global business unit recently. And Intel, they're planning significant layoffs, too, potentially impacting maybe 15–20% of their chip manufacturing division.
So AI is undeniably reshaping the tech landscape, no question, but its impact isn't happening in a vacuum, is it? You mentioned other factors. We've seen geopolitical tensions making headlines. How are they also affecting the job market?
You're absolutely right. AI isn't the only tremor, not by a long shot. Geopolitical tensions, particularly the Iran-Israel conflict recently, have triggered pretty significant aftershocks in India's job market. There's a recent survey, and it indicated that a staggering 63% of Indian companies have actually paused their hiring because of uncertainties like these.
53%, that's huge.
It is. And this kind of global instability, it's also led to a strategic shift in employment tactics. We're seeing about 15% of companies now opting for freelance or contract-based roles instead of traditional full-time positions. It's a way to, well, de-risk, basically.
That shift to contract roles, yeah, that's a significant pivot for companies trying to de-risk. So given these broader shifts, the AI disruption, the global uncertainty, it makes sense that companies are rethinking their internal strategies. We're seeing major IT services firms like TCS and Cognizant implementing much stricter bench policies. What exactly does that mean for their employees? And why the push now?
Yeah, it's pretty clear these stricter policies are a direct response to those pressures we talked about AI, demanding global clients, efficiency drives. Let's look at TCS's new associate deployment policy. It actually became effective just recently, June 12, 2025. It mandates a maximum bench time of just 35 business days per year.
35 days. That's barely over a month.
Exactly. It means employees need to be billable on projects for a minimum of 225 business days annually. And failure to meet that target, well, it'll adversely impact compensation, career growth, chances for overseas deployment, and even, continuity of employment.
So your job could be on the line.
Potentially, yes. It can lead to disciplinary action, including, as they put it, cessation of service.
Well,
And while they're on the bench, employees are now explicitly responsible for proactively engaging with their resource management group, the RMG, to find project opportunities. Plus, they're required to dedicate, get this, 4 to 6 hours daily to learning.
4 to 6 hours a day on top of job searching.
Yep, using internal platforms like iEvolve, Fresco Play, VLS, and external ones like LinkedIn. The focus is specifically on AI, automation, other emerging tech. They even have to use TCS's own Gen AI interview coach. And on top of all that, physical office presence has been made compulsory. The idea is it facilitates faster project deployment.
Wow. So mandatory office time, mandatory learning, tight deadlines.
Right. And it's all driven by, well, global clients demanding faster project turnarounds, AI-integrated solutions, and also the company trying to curb those bench-related costs, which, are estimated to be around 8–10% of TCS's payroll. That's not insignificant.
No, definitely not. Okay, that's a pretty rigorous, pretty demanding approach from TCS. Is Cognizant playing by a similar rulebook?
It seems so. While maybe not announced with a formal press release like TCS, internal discussions and employee accounts, they indicate a very similar strict approach at Cognizant. They also reportedly have a 35-day bench policy.
Same time frame.
Pretty much. And employees who remain unallocated beyond that period, they often get a very short time frame, sometimes as little as 6 days, maybe just 1 week to find a project. If they remain unallocated after that, well, there's a significant risk of separation from the company, maybe with a month's salary, maybe outright termination.
So very high stakes.
It's extremely high stakes. And there's a strong expectation, just like at TCS, for employees to be proactive, seeking allocations, upskilling, especially in digital transformation and AI. Some discussions even imply, an expectation that people should be willing to change location for a project, or even take on what might be considered irrelevant roles just to avoid termination.
Taking irrelevant roles just to stay employed.
Yeah. Essentially what's happening is these companies are shifting the onus, the responsibility for managing bench time and continuous upskilling directly onto the employee.
It certainly sounds like they're offloading the risk of bench time and the burden of upskilling onto the employees themselves. So what does this new corporate reality actually mean for the people working there? How are folks feeling, and what are they doing to cope with all this heightened pressure?
Oh, it's definitely creating significant pressure, no doubt about it. Employees are experiencing greater work pressure overall, facing tighter deadlines, often with fewer resources, which contributes to what some people are calling the infinite workday phenomenon. That constant stream of emails, messages, meetings extending way beyond traditional hours.
Yeah, the always-on culture.
Exactly. And financially, nearly 36% of employees reported delays or even complete withdrawal of salary hikes, bonuses, performance reviews. So you're seeing stagnant salaries for many. And morale? Well, that's dropped sharply for about 21% of employees, mainly due to these growing fears of job cuts.
Understandable.
Yeah. It's gotten to the point where that traditional idea of a secure, long-term 9-to-5 job, it's increasingly seen as, well, a myth. About 61% of workers feel this way, and that number jumps to 72% among Gen Z professionals. They just don't see it as realistic anymore.
That paints a picture of significant stress, and precarity. But it also sounds like the workforce isn't just passively accepting this. What proactive steps are Indian professionals taking to try and stay ahead?
That's the encouraging part. Despite the challenges, there's definite resilience and a strong drive to adapt. Over 55% of the surveyed Indian workforce are actively investing in upskilling. They're signing up for new certifications, training programs, trying to stay relevant. Plus, about 31% have started exploring alternative roles or backup job options, just, having a plan B.
Smart.
Yeah. And there's a very strong emphasis now on acquiring skills that are AI literate and tech integrated, future-proof capabilities. It's almost like skill security is replacing the old idea of job security.
That's a really interesting way to put it. Skill security over job security. Huh. Okay, so it sounds like a challenging time overall, but our sources also reveal something fascinating, maybe even surprising, a counter-trend. Even as some companies are shedding jobs and tighten policies, others, including the same ones we've been talking about, are making huge investments and actually creating thousands of new jobs. What's the story there?
Right, and this is a critical part of the picture that often gets missed in the headlines about layoffs. Despite the broader market challenges, both TCS and Cognizant, the very companies tightening bench policies, are also making significant long-term investments in India. These investments are leading to substantial job creation.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, TCS, for example, is building this massive new 20-acre IT campus in Kolkata's Bengal Silicon Valley. This project is projected to create a total of 25,000 direct jobs once it's completed. That's 5,000 in Phase 1, another 20,000 in Phase 2.
25,000 jobs from one campus.
Yeah, it's huge. West Bengal's chief minister, Mamata Banerjee, even highlighted it as a major boost amid the current job situation. And this isn't just Kolkata. It's part of TCS's broader expansion strategy across several Indian cities. Then you have Cognizant. They're making a substantial investment, about 1,583 crore, to build a new campus in Visakhapatnam, or Vizag in Andhra Pradesh. That one's projected to create over 8,000 jobs by 2029, again, across 3 phases.
8,000 more.
Right. Operations from a temporary setup are set to begin in early 2026, with Phase 1 completion by early 2029. And the specific aim here is to strengthen Cognizant's capabilities in digital transformation and AI delivery. Their CEO, Ravi Kumar S., called it a significant milestone, really leveraging India's talent pool.
Okay, so these are big strategic bets on growth.
Exactly. These strategic investments by major players, they indicate a clear long-term growth trajectory. But, and this is key, they're creating a different kind of job. They're sort of countering the general trend of job insecurity, but by focusing very specifically on these in-demand areas.
So what kind of roles are these new investments actually creating then? Are they the same traditional IT roles we were talking about, being automated, or something else?
Definitely something else. They're much less susceptible to the kind of automation hitting the repetitive tasks. These are highly skilled roles. Think data scientists, cloud engineers, full-stack developers.
The high-demand tech roles.
Precisely. For these higher-end roles that require advanced cognitive skills, creativity, complex problem-solving, AI is expected to be more of an assistant, amplifying human capabilities rather than being a replacement. We're also seeing interesting government initiatives popping up, like Navy Ah. That one's equipping people, particularly rural girls, with vocational training in non-traditional emerging job roles, things like graphic design, telecom, financial services, even smartphone and drone assembly.
Drone assembly, interesting. Diversification.
Exactly. And beyond specific roles, new employment hubs are emerging too, like Tumakuru, which is attracting both automobile and software industries. It signals a broader industrial diversification happening alongside the tech focus.
Okay, so bringing this all together, what does this mean for you, the individual listener, trying to navigate this? You've got widespread layoffs driven by AI and global stuff on one hand, but then significant new job creation in specific high-skill areas on the other. Is job security still even a realistic expectation in this kind of market?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer is, it's complicated. It's clear that job security isn't uniformly safe anymore. That traditional concept of a secure, long-term 9-to-5 job, like we said, it's increasingly seen as a myth. While those low to mid-level repetitive roles are indeed at high risk from AI, new opportunities are absolutely emerging. But accessing them and feeling secure now depends heavily on an individual's adaptability, on continuous upskilling, on aligning your skills with those in-demand roles and sectors that are actually growing.
So it's about being in the right place with the right skills.
Essentially, yes. And companies like TCS and Cognizant, even while enforcing tough policies, their strategic long-term investments can offer more stable employment options, but for those with the desired future-proof skills they need for those new roles. It really raises that important question again. Maybe instead of thinking about job security as a fixed state, like having one job forever, maybe we should view it more as a dynamic state, a state of continuous relevance and adaptability within a market that's just constantly evolving, like that skill security idea.
Yeah. Continuous relevance and adaptability, skill security, that really resonates. This deep dive has truly painted a really comprehensive picture of our evolving job market. It's a lot to take in. We've navigated the powerful currents of AI and global tensions reshaping things, looked at the demanding new expectations from corporate giants, and seen the proactive, resilient spirit of the workforce adapting. But crucially, we also uncovered those vital areas of growth and opportunity, highlighting where the future of work seems to be headed. So here's something maybe for you to mull over. In a market where the only real constant is change and specific skills are clearly becoming the new currency, what's one future-proof skill you're going to invest in developing starting today to ensure your own place, your own relevance in this evolving landscape? Consider how these insights might reshape your own career path, what areas you might want to explore further. We'll be here next time to help you unpack even more.